Welcome to the Unveiling Shadows podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Mosby. Join me as I dive into powerful stories of resilience and strength. In each episode, I sit down with guests who have faced similar journeys of coercive control, financial manipulation, and personal invasion. Together, we uncover the shadows, share our experiences, and inspire others to reclaim their lives. Tune in, listen, and be a part of the community that stands tall against the forces that seek to control us. Okay, listen up, light beings. I'm going to touch on drones, extraterrestrials, and enlightenment. I think it's about to get to that stage, and these individuals need our help. So I'm going to show a video of Billy Carson, Dr. Stephen Greer, and then I'll put the full link of the hour-long YouTube video in my bio. So like, share, and subscribe. Let me share my screen.
Just as this group is pivoting to disclose the facts and the real information. So this is a PSYOP, psychological warfare operation. We predicted it. We've been predicting it for 25 years. If you read my paper that I wrote in 1999, it's on our website, drstephengreer.com, and it states very pointedly that the actors who are keeping this secret will take the momentum of disclosure and try to turn it into an alien invasion scenario, a good versus bad alien scenario, a way to keep war running all over the world, and also aggrandize the military-industrial complex with trillions of dollars in new spending to create a countermeasure to the alien threat. So we know this was the plan that was hatched in 1953 or so at the CIA. We have documents to that effect, and that it would only take place because there had been a long-term, multi-decade psychological warfare operation that began in the late in the 50s in earnest with the man-made UFOs, and then later where they were using altered humans, and then in the later robotic aliens to abduct humans and to instigate terrorizing events like mutilations. And on occasion where they placed these man-made UFOs over developing world villages and blown up the whole village and killed dozens of people. Now, we have people on the inside who know all this. And so now, the incoming president doesn't know this, the Congress doesn't know this, and 99.9% of the Pentagon don't know it, but this is what's going to be coming out in part. And the very granular details of what this defection group is going to put out there, we don't know, but it will absolutely be dispositive proof, but also the fact that they've agreed to unmask themselves, meaning they'll be named, is new. I just learned that a couple weeks ago when the leader of that group met with me at my place in Washington, D.C. So we'll see what happens if they don't get scrubbed. I mean, if they're not assassinated between now and then, this is what's coming out, and I'm making an attempt. I sort of joke, I've become the cosmic Paul Revere, going up to leaders around the world about this.
So he's talking to a lot of people about what's happening. They're going to disclose this information within the next probably 15, 20 days, and they need the stuff to go viral. So I will keep you posted as to when they will post the information that's coming out. We need to push it as hard as we can to get this information out to everybody, especially you light beings that want to make a change and to basically save the planet before it goes to hell in a handbasket, because that's where we're headed. Let's go to 1111, my favorite number, one of my favorite numbers.
This information coming out with the technologies being used for peaceful purposes to eliminate poverty and create almost like a heaven on earth, and fix the environment with free energy, but also to start a program where we make contact with these civilizations peacefully instead of shooting them down. So the disclosure coming out is the easy part, even though it's taken me 31 years to do it, 33 years. But then the battle of disclosure really begins, and it's this: how do we look at this? How do we interpret this? And if this disclosure momentum gets hijacked into this terrible, frightening left turn into destruction and conflict, it will be 1,000 times worse than COVID. And that's what I'm saying, the senior incoming people around the incoming president. I would say the same thing to Biden. This is a nonpartisan effort. I want to emphasize that. Now, if it goes this other way, it could be one of the most unifying, beautiful moments in human history. I think you have seen the sample speech I've written for various world leaders. You remember I sent that to you last week. And as far as I'm concerned, you can publish that. But the point I'm making is it really is the battle for disclosure and how this goes. And is it something that benefits the human species and our future on Earth, or is something that leads to panic and destruction? Now, the people who want war and panic and destruction, they obviously want it to go in the direction of mainstream ufology. But if it goes in that direction, it's a worst case scenario. And I've said that for 25 years. So this is where the battle really does get joined. And it's information warfare. It's a psychological op warfare. And, you know, this nonsense with the drones is just sort of
for the new president coming in, and who knows what kind of
timing is
sabotage fuckery that they're doing at this moment. It's kind of nuts.
Fuckery is a great word.
At this time,
I
let's
like
just
you
roll
already.
a clip, an exclusive from the documentary out right now, Breaking the Internet, Battle for Disclosure. Take a look at this.
So let's go to 2929. And then I'll put the link, as I previously stated in my bio.
will determine the human future. This is why it is the battle for disclosure.
And speaking of battle for disclosure, here is another exclusive cut. Guys, take a look at that.
It's really the legislation that was passed last December that opens up the vehicle and avenue for these witnesses and whistleblowers to come forward. Now they can do it without any of these terrible ramifications. They should feel more confident, and that's really the whole goal behind this entire conference. If these black programs are extra constitutional and illegal from the get-go, then it null and voids their national security non-disclosure agreements because it's an illegal program. So that's kind of one way that you can.
And as a TI, we know what those illegal programs look like because they're doing it to us.
A more powerful piece of legislation in place that allows these people to come forward, and they're coming forward. These are.
Thank goodness someone has the courage to come forward.
About.
I mean, one of the most has us programmed into believing this narrative. However, the truth is, in my opinion, and based on my research, I just don't see something like that happening. To me, it's laughable that type of situation would even occur.
Well, let me take it one more step. And that is, not only are the civilizations not doing that, but the organization that has been reverse engineering advanced interstellar craft for 70, 80 years. They have technologies now that are almost at parity. In other words, would be equal to or close to what an ET vehicle or NHI, non-human intelligence vehicle or craft would look like. And those are operational. And those have been used in false flag operations already. And if you doubt it, look at the testimony of Stephen Digna, right? Who was at a army base in California back around 2000, where a Raytheon triangular object that almost had AI and bio nanotechnology where it seemed to be living. And when he touched it, it would purr and make this weird sound. And that was a man-made Raytheon device. Now, if 1 million people saw that and came up close to it, or everyone in Congress and in the White House saw it, they would think it was an alien craft, and it isn't. So the other part of this is that these clunky drones that are running around New Jersey and elsewhere, that is not what they really could stage a false operation with.
Okay, so you see where I'm going with this? I'll keep you posted because as these whistleblowers come out and start telling the truth of how far technology has really gotten and how they have been hiding it from us for a very long time, it's about time for full disclosure. I agree. So, as always, stay strong. You've got this. Thank you for listening to the Unveiling Shadows podcast. I hope today's episode has shed light on the experiences that too often remain hidden. If you or someone you know has a story to share, please reach out to me. Remember, you're not alone and your voice matters. Follow me on social media and subscribe to the podcast for more inspiring stories. Until next time, stay strong and keep unveiling the shadows.